Welcome, everyone. It is 6:31 p.m., and this meeting of the Centennial School Board is now called to order. It's Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. First thing we will do is approve our agenda. So the agenda has been documented in board book. Were there any amendments or changes needed? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and call for motion.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. All right, moving on to introduction of guests. We definitely have some guests in the room. I'm really excited to welcome everybody. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Superintendent Owens to introduce our first guest.
All right, thank you, Chair Solowski. Christina, if you'd take the hot seat over here. I am very pleased to introduce the selection of Christina Anderson as the new principal of Pleasant Valley Elementary, effective on July 1st. Christina brings a wealth of experience in instructional leadership, school improvement, and fostering inclusive learning environments. She is currently finishing up as principal in the Estacada School District, where she has led Clackamas River Elementary since 2020. Prior to her current role, Christina served as an assistant principal at Oliver Elementary in Centennial School District, making this a return to a district that she is passionate about. I don't know that there's going to be much left over for you after this, so I'll keep going. With over 2 decades in education, Christina has held various leadership and teaching positions, including as a classroom teacher, a behavior interventionist, school improvement, TOSA, and an instructional coach. She is deeply committed to equity, student-centered learning, and strengthening relationships between schools, families, and the community. Her experience navigating the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic as principal has reinforced her belief in collaborative leadership, steady communication, and aligned goals to support student success. After earning her degree in Human Development and Family Science from Oregon State University, go Bees, Christina achieved a Master's in Education and Administrative Licensure from PSU. With an active family, Christina enjoys youth sports, dance, and any downtime she can squeeze in with family and friends. And in fact, while she was sitting over here, she was looking on her phone at her child rounding the bases on some sort of app that she can monitor that. Is that what it is? Throughout the spring, Christina has been working with current principal Holland Robbie and Pleasant Valley staff to ensure a smooth transition. Please join us in welcoming Christina back to Centennial School District as she embarks on this new leadership journey at Pleasant Valley Elementary. So Christina, if the light is green on your microphone, and if there's anything I've left for you to share, please offer any comments you'd like. The microphone is right there.
There we go. I don't have a lot of comments left to say. I just thank you for the warm welcome and the information that you had. I am really excited for July to roll around so we can get started on what we're going to accomplish in the next school year. So thank you for having me today, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Would you like to do the honors of introducing the next?
We have next on the agenda the CHS First Director Southerton. Where is he? Is he not in the room? Oh, he's right out. You can come in. There's plenty of seats in here. It's the superintendent stand-up hour. You need to be in here for this. He thought that this was going to be for the budget hearing, why we had all the attendance this evening. But no, what we really have is the the Centennial High School Spring Sports Recognition. And so it's a balance. We know that school's ended, and we appreciate those who are here this evening for recognition. It was a balance in terms of when to provide said recognition, because our last board meeting was in May, and the spring sports season was still happening. So it's difficult to recognize people when those accolades haven't yet materialized. So thank you for being here this evening. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to CHS Principal Marin Miller and Athletic Director Dante Gouge, and they are going to orient us to our student athletes this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent Owens. We are very excited. As you know, one of the emphasis we have been working on for the last several years is continue to strengthen and build our athletic and sports programs. And then the presentation that you'll hear tonight just shows that. It was one of the most successful sports seasons, spring sports seasons we've had in many years, and that's a credit to our coaches, credits to our staff, Dante, and our students. So there is a lot to recognize and celebrate. So we'll turn over to Dante.
With my glasses and my big print. So yes, thank you again. I think at the time of the last board meeting, we had only had one group that had voted on all league things. So to save some time, I do want to introduce the people that are here first. So behind me to the right, one of our softball players, first team catcher, third team all-state catcher, Emma Anundi-Bolin. Literally directly behind me is second team all-conference in tennis, Cheyenne Wolf. Since both of their coaches are here, so Tim Roop is our girls tennis coach and one of our teachers at the high school, and halfway out the door is Centennial alum, Coach Kelsey Burkhofer. Two of the biggest things, obviously, Mr. Miller talked about growing our numbers, and classroom academics is also big. So this was actually probably as great as this list is, it's more impressive when we talk about our cumulative varsity GPAs. So girls tennis had a 3.81 collective GPA as a team. Softball had a 3.03 GPA as a team. Baseball had a 3.28 GPA as a team. Boys tennis had a 3.83 team GPA. And girls track and field was just below 3 point, and boys track and field was 3.52. So it was a great spring in the classroom as well as it was on the sporting fields. So good job, both of you. Both of them actually help their team's GPA, so I can actually say that, because I do read those. We also want to, just before we kind of get going, is recognize our boys tennis coach, Jared Johnson, also a staff member at the high school, was this year's Northwest Oregon Conference Boys Tennis Coach of the Year, which is also exciting. So I'm going to hold Kenny for last just in case they show up late. So just to go through our different honorees on the baseball team, Juju Rodriguez was honorable mention utility player. Logan Landau was honorable mention utility player. And Isaac Galofino was honorable mention pitcher. So those are our three all-league award winners for baseball. In softball, obviously we had Emma as first team. We also had Nevaeh Norris as first team outfielder, and Claire Karen as first team outfielder. We had a second team pitcher and freshman Taylon Danner, and an honorable mention designated player Gwenny Bajorquez. So that was our softball group. On the girls tennis, Cheyenne was our only Northwest Conference award winner in that. And then Brandon Vu, who actually was our lone state participant, was first team all conference. And Jason Finkseen was second team all conference in tennis. Now here's where the list gets big. So in tennis, if you make it to the final in your event, you're considered all conference. So this is 2 pages, so bear with me. I'll go fast. Aiden Tayema was second team in the 200-meter dash, honorable mention in the 100-meter dash, and a member of the second team all-conference 4x1. Zakai Modi was honorable mention in the 400. He was first team high jump and honorable mention in the 4x400-meter relay. Easton Hopkins was honorable mention in the 800-meter run. Evan Brown was honorable mention in the 1500-meter run. Ken Son was first team all-conference in the 110 hurdles, second team in the 300 hurdles, and ran on both the second team 4x100-meter relay, and was honorable mention in the 4x4 relay. Also was second team all-state in the 300-meter hurdles, and third team honorable mention in the 110-meter high hurdles. David Schmoll was second team all-conference in both shot and discus. Jaden Head was honorable mention in the javelin. Jaden was actually our male athlete of the year. He actually lettered in 4 sports. 3 of those, he was captain of those teams. So we're going to miss Jaden for sure. Giovanni Luna Melkor was second team all-conference in the 4x1 relay with the others, and Travion Washington was also on that relay. Nazir Padden was honorable mention on the 4x4 relay. Still going. Albertina Delivery was first team all-conference in the 100, honorable mention in the 200, and second team all-conference in the girls 4x1 and 4x4 relays. Freshman Kyla Davis was honorable mention in the 200-meter dash and was also on the 2 4x100-meter relays and also was honorable mention in the pole vault. Hawa Talawali was honorable mention in the 100 hurdles. Alana Allen was honorable mention in the 300 hurdles, honorable mention in the 100 hurdles, and was first team all-conference in the high jump. She was also first team all-state and state champion in the high jump. And our previous most current female state champion was Alana's coach, Maddie McCone, which was kind of fun to see them both celebrating that down at Hayward a few weekends ago. Ariana Miasnik was honorable mention in the 300 hurdles and was also on the 4x1 and 4x4 relays. And was also second team all-conference in the 400-meter dash. Jolene Duffy Slack was honorable mention in the shot put. We're almost done. Ember Sweetman was honorable mention in the discus. Also honorable mention in the discus and the javelin, Alicia Vargas Galaga. Honorable mention in the long jump and second team all-conference in the triple jump, Elizabeth Kadatska. Second team all-conference in the high jump, Grace Chenku. And then second team all-conference in both the 4x1 and 4x4 relays, Elizabeth Lancaster. She was also first team all-conference in the pole vault and honorable mention at state in that same event. And as fast as I went, we also have one athlete. Kenny Polson is a part of our unified track team and competes in Special Olympics. Unfortunately, he's not here today. He competed while we were at state in another local meet and was the Special Olympic champion in the shot put, second in the 100 meter, and third in his 4x100 relay, and has been invited as a representative for this region to the state games later on in July this summer. So I want to shout out Kenny, who's a wonderful freshman. And pause.
And that's our exciting sports season. So, and we'd like one last round of applause and thank you to all of our.
Thank you. I just want to take a minute and acknowledge how much work and dedication y'all put in. I know that it is not easy to keep up with your schoolwork and the athletics. The fact that you keep doing it and you get your grades and you've made it as far as you have is really commendable. Also, thank you to the coaches and the parents, because I know they don't get there alone. Lots of times, I mean, I'm a parent, so I know that there's lots of things you need to bring at the last minute, even their senior year. So, I'm just really proud of all of you. What a great turnout, and a special congratulations to Kenny. Yeah, would we like to do a minute for, yes, okay. So we'll take a little 5-minute pause, we'll do some pictures, and then anybody that doesn't want to stay for the rest of the really fun meeting can not stay for the rest of the really fun part.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
The next item we have on our agenda is we would like to take us some time to recognize one of our own directors, Claudia Andrews, for her board service. So, Pam helped me with writing a little statement, so I am going to read a little statement. It all began on a dark and stormy night. No, just kidding. I'll begin on May 24th, 2018, when board leadership, Shar and Pam, met for coffee with Claudia Andrews to discuss her joining the CSD board. We knew the incredible talent she would bring to the board. She was a retired Chief Operating Officer from Bonneville Power Administration, where she held various executive, managerial, and staff positions, including Chief Operating Officer, Chief Finance Officer, and Chief Risk Officer. On July 6th, she was appointed to the remaining 1 year in position 7 at large. During her 2018-19 year on the board, Claudia worked diligently on all aspects of board work: strategic planning, budget committee, where her expertise shined, board member recruiting, and preparation for the 2020 bond. She was completely engaged in the process of developing Destination 2023 with a combination of strategy and vision. Her aim has been clear: to ensure that every student achieves success. Although Claudia lost the 2019 election, her work and commitment to Centennial did not wane. She understood the importance of passing a bond and continued her volunteering to assure a win in May 2020. To that end, Claudia was appointed to the 2020 Bond Oversight Committee and diligently attended to the work of the committee starting October 2020. January 2021 brought another opportunity to serve CSD. When a board member resigned, Claudia once again stepped up and accepted an appointment to the board and was subsequently elected in May 2021. Pandemic recovery was her focus, where she intended to align the existing strategy called Centennial Destination 2023 with pandemic recovery goals and objectives that will provide a roadmap to student success. Of course, that included diligent oversight of the budget with goals to ensure that the money is most directly used to students' benefit. Besides all of the normal and customary responsibilities of a board member, Claudia continued to bring a calm voice and passionate dedication to the Bond Oversight Committee. When the Bond Oversight Committee chair stated Claudia's intelligent perspective and attention detail, as well as fully understanding the critical role of managing a $72 million budget, was critical to the board oversight, or the Bond Oversight Committee's success. Her deliberative methodology exerted a steadying influence on the final product, making sure each dollar being spent was not whimsical or ill-considered in its use. She has set a high performance bar for others to follow. I would like to just add one last thing, and that I think that what you bring to the board really is like what I've noticed is the keen eye and a kind heart. Like, you have got a great eye for catching the small little details of things, and you approach everything from your heart. And so with that, I would like to open it up to anyone else to say anything, but this, we all just really appreciate you and your service, and please, you're welcome back anytime. To say anything?
I think we failed to mention just champion of the arts, right? And keeping that in mind in terms of building it back, not just in our music programs, but across all programs. Anything that involves our students academically, you've cared for, but you're also caring for students in those other ways that bring them success and belonging in our district, whether that be a music program or a drama program or athletics like we saw tonight. So I've really appreciated that. And personally, I appreciated you and I and other board members lived through the pandemic. You were always available to talk to and talk through things because we were in such uncharted waters. We didn't know what to do from week to week, and yet I think you had that steady, calm, stay the course and do the right thing, and the right thing is it the best, in the best interest of our students in this district? So I've always appreciated that, even when I'm sometimes like, what? You clarify your thinking, I understand where you're coming from, and I've appreciated having that voice here at this table for as long as we've been able to benefit from it. So thank you very much.
I just want to say thanks for everything. Claudia, you and I came in at the same time,
Yeah.
I believe in the exact same meeting,
Yep.
if I remember right. And we've been through it together, and, you know, sad to see you go, but happy for you as well. You know, happy you'll have your evenings back. And thanks for everything. Thanks for always asking the questions that, you know, oftentimes you'd ask a question and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's good. I like that. So I have a lot of respect for you, and I hope that you'll stay engaged with the Centennial community, because we'll reach out to you, like it or not. Thanks, Claudia.
Thanks for asking me to run.
Claudia, thanks so much for your service to the board and our community. You've always had a very warm, welcoming presence, and it's surely appreciated, you know, both here on the board and in the community as well. And we're going to miss you. I'm happy that you get to take this next chapter and, you know, have fun. And don't listen to Jess. We're not going to call you. We're going to respect. We're going to respect that you're taking the next chapter. But no, we might call you. But thank you so much.
Claudia, from my perspective, I applaud your ability to keep us honest and also to have us raise our game. In this position, I was just reflecting as Rose was reading the little historical that she was providing, and I was thinking, you know, on the day-to-day, I don't have a direct supervisor. I have a body that is a supervisor, so it's just different in that respect. And so I have to kind of think about how board members would process. And a lot of times what goes through my mind is, how will Claudia want to see this? Or what questions will Claudia ask? And what I can distill that down to is, you have a standard of excellence. I'm writing my goals for the year, and I'm thinking, how much feedback is Claudia going to give, or can I knock this out in such a way that she's not going to redline it too much? In terms of the budget, that's another aspect. In terms of the bond, you were a catalyst to us receiving the recognition from the Gresham Chamber. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that the power of board work sometimes can seem ambiguous. And with you, it's been very tangible and real. And I just feel that you provided tremendous value to our school district with your service, and with your dedication and with your diligence and preparation. Because Paul and I will often meet on facilities or budget stuff and think, okay, how do we prepare this so that Claudia receives it, and what questions might she ask? So I just appreciate that. And overall, not only that, I just appreciate your support of me, to know that I have a board member that not only has high expectations, but also I know that has my back is super important. And above all, I appreciate that aspect too. So appreciate your service. We'll miss you.
Thank you, Claudia.
Okay.
One more round of applause.
Can I jump in there, guys?
Oh, actually, yes. Sorry, Director Lynn, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's always been nice sitting next to Claudia, learning from her. And I always appreciated your emphasis on community, and you understood the need to get out in the community and be connected with them. And so thank you for your service, and it'll be great. Hopefully you get to enjoy your time off. Thank you.
Great group of folks, and I think that with the addition of Michael on the board, you will really make some great headway for the kids and for the district. And I look forward to many successes coming out of this group of folks. Soldier on. Great
Thanks,
job.
Claudia.
Mhm.
Thank you. Approval of minutes. So we saw the minutes from May 28th, 2025. Are there any changes needed? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and call for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second. No,
Minutes,
no, the
motion.
minutes, the minutes.
See, that's
The
where you're
minutes.
good. Motion to approve
Did
the
I?
minutes.
Second?
Second,
All-
yes.
All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the minutes will be documented as presented. Next up, we have our public forum. And we have nothing coming in for public forum. Moving right along, reports. We've got a budget adoption presentation.
We do indeed. Good evening, everyone. Good to be here with you. I know this was third event of the evening and third place, so we've had a couple wonderful things already, but happy to discuss the budget. I'll be taking through a summary of the budget, and then there'll be an opportunity for the board to ask questions or provide comments. We will then enter a public hearing and have an opportunity for our community to provide comments on the proposed budget. And then later, under new business, this body will have an opportunity to consider a motion to approve the budget, tax levy, bonded payment levy, and then ultimately vote. So with that, I'm pleased to present what we feel very strongly is a student-focused budget. We measure this based on the goals of the district with the strategic plan, Roadmap 2027. And we have building a strong foundation pre-K to third grade, supporting every student's well-being and inclusion, centering student voice, empowerment, and leadership, ensuring equitable access to high-quality academics, and preparing every student for their future. And this budget clearly funds and speaks to every one of those goals. Additionally, the budget supports two additional priorities of the committee, which was maintaining co-curricular activities such as student leadership, music, art, athletics, and clubs, and career and technical education programs, partnerships, and vocational training, both in district and with partners such as Cal and Mount Hood Community College. So this district preserves all those opportunities, which is somewhat becoming more and more unique amongst us and our neighbors. Centennial continues to maintain the strong and robust opportunities and programs for our students. Overall, we're forecasting average class size at the elementary level to be approximately 25. We have as low as 18 for the pre-K, and then overall 25 for an average. Middle school and high school, we measure a little differently. We go by ratio of general education teacher to enrollment because we have electives such as PE, which may have or band, which may have a very large class size, and we may have specialized electives, which may have a very small class size. Metals, for example, I think is 12 or 13 is forecasted in the first trimester of next year. So the overall ratio is 1 to 23 at each of those levels, with an anticipated average class size of about 30, giving those fluctuation in enrollment, and then also accounting for prep periods when teachers prepare for learning. Overall, the budget maintains all critical current services to students and continues leveraging the grants and special revenue funds to support smaller class sizes, student mental health supports, special education supports, enhanced electives and CTE program, and investments to close the learning gaps. It also continues investment in co-curricular activities and student leadership opportunities, and continues our investments in improving teaching and learning environments where our students spend the most time. The budget does use $1.9 million of our fund balance, which is recognizing that that is a spending that is above and beyond what local taxes and state support provides. And that is planned for this next year to preserve our needed supports and opportunities for students. So informed by the Centennial Budget Committee, as well as the Centennial community, staff, and students through ongoing strategic plan engagement and implementation sessions, the administration respectfully submits for your consideration the 25-26 Centennial School District budget as amended to a total of $159,964,707, including the general fund budget in amount of $99,613,216, and all other fund budgets in the amount of $60,351,491. The proposed general fund permanent tax rate is $4.7448 per thousand, and the proposed tax levy is $4,189,105 for the bonded debt payments. That was a mouthful and a lot of information. I'm glad I didn't mess up any of those numbers. I welcome any questions and comments you may have.
Thank you very much, Director Southerton. Looking around the room to see if there are any questions. We'll go with Director Harden first.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to the Budget Committee and all the members of the Budget Committee for their engagement and for the great questions. Do you remember how many questions?
More than 75. Yeah.
More than 75 questions and clarifications that everyone went through. I want to thank everyone for going through that process. Everyone in the business office who put these numbers together and figured out where to shave. Because unfortunately we're in circumstance, as many other school districts in the state, where we do need to shave. So hopefully that gets addressed sometime in the near future. Salem. And thank you very much for everything.
Thank you.
Other questions?
I do. We saw the vote for what looks like the final number. Do you believe it's the final number coming from the state or not?
Yes, you're speaking about the $11.4 billion for the
Yes.
next biennium for the state school fund. Yes, that is the number, and it's the number that we used in our forecast throughout. We appreciate the shared advocacy that we had with our union partners and COSA and others, and we appreciate the governor updating the model for the continued service level. And so they came out with a pretty sizable increase to begin with. We know it's not enough. We would have liked to see 11.8 billion so that we didn't have to do the shaving that Director Harden had mentioned. That really is what would it have taken to roll everything forward for next year, 11.8 to 11.9. But nonetheless, it is a substantial increase over the current biennium, and we're grateful that at least it's better than historical increases biennium to biennium.
Thank you.
I have one quick question. You had mentioned the difference between class size and ratio. So if you've got a middle school class that has 30 students in it, do you put an EA in there to address the ratio, or how do you address the difference?
Yeah, that's a great question. We typically we don't. That is within the normal standard of a class size. If we get in an excessive numbers, then we would look at potentially additional supports. Historically, for Centennial, we've been as high as 1 to 36. Looking back, Superintendent Owens and I did a 10-year study on class size enrollment, and so we've dropped class size by about 20% overall on an average in the last 10 years. So classes are definitely getting smaller, and we know they're still not at ideal ranges.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing anywhere near historical class sizes like we see post-recession 2008, 2014.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would just add, we have consider action points, which are upper thresholds, and when those consider action points are hit, there isn't a prescribed thing that we do, but it engages collaboration with the school level administrator and potentially them with their respective educators to see what the best course of action may be. It may be providing another classroom in that school. It may be having an overflow site designated in another school, which we try to avoid busing students from their neighborhood school, but it can happen from time to time. Educational assistance we've done as well. So it's a variety of a menu of strategies that we engage with the building level to try to see what the best thing to do to employ.
So the ratio is more of a guideline, not like a ratio that we have to strictly
Yeah,
follow.
and it differs based on grade level. So your kinder thresholds will be lower than your upper elementary and so forth. And so it's just consider action points, but not hard targets that prompt a specific action.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and at the secondary level, it really comes down to the building administrator working with the teachers and the leadership staff as well, because sometimes offering more electives and opportunities will result in some higher class sizes because you have more opportunities that fewer students may partake in, but it's offering opportunities, so then other classes may have a little bit. So it's worked out at the building level largely for secondary.
Yeah, coming from working in more restrictive environments, ratio to me means like we've got a strict like 1 to 5 ratio, and we can't have like more or less, and so that's
Certainly.
why I was clarifying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, great clarification.
Any other questions, thoughts? I'm not seeing David, but okay, we're good. All right, thank you very much. We'll now move into, this is when I read this fun one, huh? At this time, the board will recess to meet for the 2025-2026 budget hearing. The regular board meeting will resume after this hearing. So now, clicking this at 7:09, and the budget hearing is open. I would like to open to any public comments, and so we'll go ahead and turn it over and see if there's anybody in the waiting room or anybody that would like to share. No? Was this the one where I had to say it like 3 times? Is there anybody that needs something else? Okay. All right. Hearing that there's no public comment, we'd like to, let's see here, do some deliberation. So at this point, we'll go around the room. And I'll call on everybody to see if there's anything that they would like to share. I'm going to go ahead, call on Director Andrews first.
I think that we're really lucky that we've done so well through Director Southerton and his staff to put together a budget that is has minimal reductions and is able to sustain most everything. I didn't see anything that we're saying we're not going to do this anymore at all. And that's quite a heroic effort, especially with, nobody's mentioned reducing enrollment. So not only is the funding not quite up to par, but the reduction in enrollment and projected reduction in enrollment is a difficult thing to juggle, for sure. It's hard. Anyway, great job.
Thank you.
Director Harden.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the Budget Committee. Thank you to the board. And thank you to the business office.
Director Stanley?
I think it is an absolute gift to have a business office that is able to put a budget like this together. Across the state, districts are struggling. The district I work for is struggling. Districts my friends work for are struggling, and we're in such a better position. I think it's because of how efficient and well-managed our funds have been. So I appreciate how clear everything has been, the deliberation that has taken place, the organization, and the willingness to answer all the questions, but just that absolute dedication to finding all the little bits that we can shrink so that our student servicing items stay has been really appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Director Morin.
Thank you. Yeah, I will echo the my fellow board members and congratulating the budget committee and Director Southerton and your district staff and everybody who contributed public comment and multiple, over 75 questions. It's amazing, and you got back to all of them. Like that takes a level of focus that is, obviously well honed, and just very appreciative of the effort that went into putting this budget together. As Director Stanley said, we are blessed to be in the position that we're in, and we know that it takes the entire village to do that. So thank you to everybody who contributed to the budget.
Thank you. Director Lynn, do you have anything?
No questions. Thank you, everybody, for your work on it.
Thank you. Vice Chair Shields?
Mine is by a comment from a parent I wanted to share with you. The parent had been hearing things waiting the car line that sometimes happens and parents gather.
Yeah.
And they've been hearing about budget cuts and all the stuff that was going on around us. They hadn't heard much about Centennial, and decided to check in, and checked into one of the front school offices and asked for a budget book, which I couldn't believe that she would do. And she says, I went in there and they had one, and I asked if I could borrow it, and they said, you can have this. So she said, I took it home and I looked at it for a couple of hours. And she says, I've had one term of accounting in my college life, and I could understand what was going on. I could clearly see where you had things had been thoughtfully mentioned. I really enjoyed reading kind of through the preamble and giving an understanding background. She says, who do I tell that was just so good? I said, well, I can tell your story. I didn't ask if I could use her name though. Anyway, she was just so appreciative of the level of transparency that you and your staff have provided in the written documentation. And then also realized that it was like, things like this were on the website. So suddenly you've got this advocate from just a discussion in the parking lot with other parents and a concern. And now an advocate for, listen, it's all right there. You can see it, you can find it, you can know about it. And I did say that maybe she should consider the budget committee.
There you go. Yeah,
There you
a future member.
Thank you. I will just close by echoing everyone's comments. Wonderful job by your team. And I'm just so grateful to not be in the position that so many other school districts are in. And that's all because of you and your team and what you guys are, how you're managing the funds. Quite remarkable. Okay. We are going to close the hearing, and the regular board meeting will now resume. 7:16. I will jump into confirmation items.
Motion to approve the confirmation items.
Seconded?
All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
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 The ayes have it. Let's see here. Shall we keep plugging ahead and then take a break after? Okay. So we'll move first to action items, old business. A second read of policy AC.
All right, thank you, Chair Slawski. We have policy AC, which is non-discrimination and civil rights. This was presented at our previous board meeting as a first read, and it was a first read without an option to adopt because it was a work session and there wasn't the ability for public comment. This is the second time that you've seen this. There were no questions in between board meetings, and so just to reorient you, the thrust of this policy update is to add civil rights in addition to the non-discrimination language, and then also to designate who those civil rights coordinators are, who are our assistant superintendent and director of student services. I'll leave it there and see if any board members have questions, and also I suppose this could have been in our consent agenda since there were no questions in between meetings.
Thank you.
Just a clarifying question, if you're looking at the policy itself, we still have a few things that are bracketed. Is that just something we're removing?
Yeah, the brackets, what happens once the board takes action on a policy, provided that they approve said policy, is that Executive Assistant Missy Grindle sends it to OSBA to be cleaned up and posted to our site. And so the brackets indicate choice language. And then within the brackets, if there are strike-throughs, you'll see that the language was considered but not chosen. And so the brackets will be removed for the ultimate cleanup and post. Executive Assistant Grindle, did I get that accurate? Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's good, that's good.
Any other thoughts or questions? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and call for a motion to, I'll call for, there's a motion.
Motion to approve policy AC, non-discrimination.
Second?
All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous, the ayes have it. Moving right along to new business. We have up, adoption of the budget, and there's a whole little thing that, if you got your agenda in front of you, maybe somebody would like to read it officially. And make a motion.
So I'll read the board note for you all, and then that will give you the
Never
opportunity.
mind, sorry.
No, that's all right. So the Budget Committee has approved the 25-26 budget. The public hearing on the budget was at earlier this evening between 6:30 and 7:15, just adjourned. The budget should be adopted according to the attached resolution. Along with adopting the budget, the board needs to appropriate dollar expenditure limits for each fund by major function, such as instruction and support services. Appropriations are authorization granted by the board to make expenditures and to incur obligations for specific purposes for a single fiscal year. The district cannot exceed those appropriation levels. The appropriation level is the board's legal level of control, and board action is required to amend the appropriation. Appropriations are made for 1 year and will expire on June 30th of 2026. The board must declare the ad valorem property tax levy amount by resolution. The tax levy is categorized as either being under educational limit or excluded from limitation. Taxes excluded from limitations are deposited into the debt service fund for repayment of the district's general obligation bonded debt. Taxes collected under the educational limit are deposited in the general fund. We are requesting ad valorem property tax under the educational limit be deposited in the general fund. It is recommended that the board adopt the 2025-2026 Centennial School District budget, appropriate funds for 25-26, and categorize and levy ad valorem taxes.
Thank you.
Motion to approve as read.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
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 The ayes have it. The budget has unanimously passed. Congratulations. So we're going to take a brief recess before the board. We'll stop. I'm going to read this just, and then we'll figure it out, right? So we'll take until 7:30. At 7:30, the board will convene into executive session, and then that's probably when I would read this. Great. The rest of it. Take a break.
Recording stopped.